Hello, and thanks so much for tuning in to Clear into Balance. My name is Jamie, and on this channel, I remind you that you are a powerful spirit having this human experience. Therefore, you have the potential to change or create anything you want. Today, I want to talk about how I move through the world, having tapped into the power of my own spirit and being aligned with my own spirit through a lot of inner work, through a lot of clearing of old limiting beliefs, old negative thought patterns, using holographic kinetics. So today I went to the store and I was basically just there to refill my filtered water bottles, and that's pretty much it. But while I was there, I was like, you know what, I really like this pear juice, I want to get that. And then I was like, I want to go ahead and get some chicken to cook for the next few days. Like, I'll just get it here while I'm here. It's just easy, whatever. Even though I work at a grocery store, I get a discount, so I don't shop to like anywhere else for groceries typically. So anyway, I pick out the chicken that just felt best to me. It was like a local family farm, so it was a little bit more expensive, and I actually picked the package that had more meat, so it was one of the more expensive packages there, but I was just like, that's what I wanted, so that's what I picked out. So I get to the checkout, she's scanning everything through, everything is fine until she gets to the chicken. The chicken, for whatever reason, was not scanning. She's trying to enter the SKU number, that's not working. And then I was like, oh, could you just enter it as groceries? She's like, yeah, usually, but that's not working. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she kind of like waved at someone, and then she's like, well, would you mind just paying for this here and then taking this over to customer service and paying that? And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, like that's fine, you know. But I just told my spirit in that moment, spirit, handle this for whatever is in my highest good. Then a guy comes over, he tries all the things, none of those work. And so in the end, he was like, well, this one's on us today. So I got the chicken for free. This kind of stuff happens to me all the time now. It happens all the time. And I just expect good things to happen, and therefore they happen. That's part of this too. Like, you can't be expecting negative things to get these kinds of positive experiences. You can't go into the world thinking that it's a terrible place and get these kinds of experiences. I have also done a lot of inner work to clear limiting beliefs, to clear negative thought patterns, to clear scarcity and lack mindset that would have probably in the past put me not choosing to get those things, even though I wanted them, even though my body is craving them because of money. And I don't do that anymore. I always have the money that I need. I always get more money. I'm never worried about it now. So that is just one example of a thing that can happen when you just tap into the power of your own spirit. When I just said, okay, spirit, handle this for my highest good. I'm not trying to like get any certain outcome. I'm not even attached to anything. I had the money in hand. I was ready to pay full price for everything that I took up there. I had no problems with that, but I just let it go and let my spirit handle it. And that is so key. You don't need all the affirmations. You don't need crystals. You don't need any prayers to anything outside of yourself when you realize the power of your own spirit to get and create anything that you want. So another example of something that just came through today that I felt was going to work out, but just today I got the confirmation officially, is that I got a sleeping pad last summer to camp, and I basically ended up only camping 4 times for a total of 5 nights. And that was just like car camping. So I barely used this sleeping pad. And my last sleeping pad was a Thermarest. It lasted me like over 20 years. I typically keep my gear, especially like my outdoor gear, for years and years and years until it's falling apart and it's just not usable. It's just the way that I am. I don't like the throwaway culture. I don't feel the need to always upgrade with every season or with every new product that comes out. I just like to use things up. I like to really, use things up, like use it until it's not working anymore. So with the sleeping pad, the last time I went camping, like a month ago, it deflated completely on me in the middle of the night. And you can imagine that was really annoying to wake up to, to be on the cold, hard ground, and I was like freezing. So it was really annoying. And recently, like, my spirit kind of nudged me to return that sleeping pad. And like, I typically, even though I've been an REI member for like like over 20 years at this point, because I did wildlife work in the past. I was always getting camping and hiking gear from them. So I typically never returned things. Like I would get something and I would just use it, and then I would like replace it when it needed replaced, and that's it. So at any rate, I went to the store. Well, first off, I called the store, and the woman gave me this runaround, and she was like, well, things aren't made like they used to be, and fabrics now just aren't lasting, and you should have gotten a Thermarest because that's like tried and true. And I'm like, I had never heard REI speak to anyone like that before. Their return policy used to be really top notch, to the point where people abused it, so they had to change their policy. I totally get that, but this was more like a defective product. This wasn't me just not liking my sleeping pad for some reason, or overusing it, or blowing it up to a crazy extent and then popping it or something like that. It wasn't like normal for this to happen. And so anyway, I was like, okay. So I get off the phone with her. She's like, well, you could try to bring it into the store. I take it into the store and I tell them what happened, and I'm like, and they're like, well, it's past the year of returning it, like we can't really accept it and all this. And then he grabbed the manager that was available, and she's like, well, the other manager's in the bathroom right now. I'm a new manager. I can't say for sure, but we might be able to do it. They were just giving me this runaround, okay? So I had to get to work. I ended up leaving. They called me after. They were supposed to leave a message. They didn't leave a message. So at this point, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to call the company. So I called the company. I talked to the guy. I'm like, look, this is a defective product. Like, I've literally slept on it for 5 nights. It completely deflated last time. I know to add air before I go to bed. Like, that's not the issue. It completely deflated. Like, I want a refund. So because it was defective, he was like, well, what I can do is send you a shipping label and you can send it in, and then we can see, and you can just put a note in there about being defective. I was like, yes, let's do that. And I told my spirit to just handle it. I told my spirit to do whatever was in my highest good, and I told it what I wanted. I want a full refund for this product that's defective. And sure enough, today I got the confirmation, and I just felt like my spirit was leading me to that, to get that money back. And I'm just like, I knew I was going to get it back, especially once I talked to him and he was like, well, for defective items, we'll take it past that year date. And I was like, okay, let's go. This is happening. Spirit, just handle it. Today I got the confirmation in the email saying I'm going to be getting a check. So it's going to be coming in the next few weeks. Done. This is the kind of thing that we can let our spirit handle. We don't need to push and hustle and worry and be anxious about it. We don't have to think worst case scenarios. In fact, if you're thinking worst case scenarios, you're going to attract whatever you're thinking about. And it's funny because as I move through the world, one thing that I'm finding that I'm doing lately is, as I'm talking about my plans for the future, I'm having people interject their worst case scenario thoughts into it. And I'm just saying to them flat out, I'm not taking that on. I was like, no, I'm not taking that on. Easy as that, done. Because what I've noticed is, like, people will add in their worst case scenario thinking. Like, for instance, I'm going to be traveling soon, and my dad offered to let me keep my car at his house. And then he goes into this thing of, well, I don't think anything would happen. Nothing's ever happened, but I mean, something could happen. And I'm like, no. I was like, why are we even talking about worst case scenarios? I'm like, that's not happening. I was like, it will be fine if that's what I choose to do. Like, I don't need to worry about that. Like, it's going to totally be fine. He's like, well, somebody wants to hit my fence. I'm like, that's not happening. So, the thing is that everybody's living from their own perspective, their own lens. And sometimes those lenses are really cloudy. Sometimes the lenses are really cloudy. And, my lens used to be a lot cloudier than it is now. I used to have a lot of lack mentality, scarcity mindset that was coming from past experiences I had in past lives, that was coming down my genetic line and coming from experiences in this life that I've since cleared. And the difference is huge by clearing those things, because I no longer fret about money. And it's not that I'm like rich, it's not that I'm like making loads of money at the job that I currently have, but in the time that I've been living here, having cleared all of those limiting beliefs that are now allowing me to live more in alignment with my own spirit, things are just easy. I always have the money for everything I want to do, for plane tickets, for concerts, for camping, for road trips, anything that I want to do. If I want to buy a plant, because I have so many, everything, I just do it. I just do it. I don't sit and fret about, oh, I just got a plant yesterday, and I mean, should I be spending all this money on plants? Like, I don't live that way. I just live knowing that I'll always have more money, that I'm always being taken care of, that everything is lining up for me. And when you do that and you clear out anything that was causing you to struggle or be in survival mode, which I've had to clear, I've cleared things around life feeling difficult or life feeling heavy, all these different things. I cleared victimhood mentality. We can have so many things behind the scenes affecting our reality that we're not even aware of until we're aware of them. And I'm telling you, now that I've cleared those things, life is so easy and amazing. And things happen all the time to show me that I'm on the right path. I meet people who are talking about things that I'm interested in. My closest friends are living the lives that I want to live. It's all syncing up in just the most amazing, perfectly timed way. And just as I said that, it was 11:11 on my timer. So anyway, I pay attention to all these little synchronicities in science. Yeah. What's another cool example that's happened recently? Ooh, this one was really good. I'm going to be traveling soon, and I ended up getting an Airbnb for 5 nights. Now, leading up to that trip, I was having a lot of trouble finding one that was available in the town that I was planning on going and visiting. I was finding them in neighboring towns. I found like a cheap hotel that was a little bit far from where I wanted to be, and otherwise, like, I couldn't find it right where I wanted. Plus, like, a lot of the ones that were left, especially places that were like full houses, were like $4,000 to $6,000 for the 5 nights. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. So at any rate, I just told my spirit, like, Spirit, this is what I want. I want the best possible place for me. I want this area. I want to be this close to the people that I'm visiting. Like, I want to be able to take public transport, no problem. And yeah, just line it up. And I just let go. Even though I could have been like fretting, I could have been like, oh, okay, only this hotel is available. I'm just going to book it. You know, all these things. I could have done that. Maybe old me would have. And maybe you can relate to that way of thinking of just like, oh, I better get what's available now. No, instead, I just gave it over to my spirit. I told my spirit to handle it. I told it what I wanted, and I let it go. And honestly, I think from that time until I actually went to go and book a place, at least a week had gone by. At least, maybe 2 weeks even. I let it go. I just sat on it until I got this feeling in my body one night of, you know what? I think I should book that soon. And you know, somebody was going to look into other short-term rentals that maybe were open in the area. The problem was like, there's going to be a college football game that weekend that I'm going, and like, so a lot of places were just booked up. And I even felt into it. I was like, do I wait for that person to get back to me about some other rental? And I got a no in my body. It was just a feeling. It's not words, it's just a feeling. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'm going to book it tomorrow when I wake up, because it was late at this point and I didn't want to turn my brain on by getting on and researching places to stay again. So I just let it go. And I'm like, okay, Spirit, I'm going to go and book this tomorrow. So I woke up and I thought, you know, I'll probably just book that hotel that I found. But I was like, I'm going to look on Airbnb one more time and just see if anything has opened up, see if there's anything there. I go on, I ended up finding one in the town that I wanted to be, within the distance that I wanted to be. And not only that, but it was one that is like a super host. They've got all these amazing reviews. People on there were saying how it was like their favorite Airbnb they've ever stayed in. It was talking about the host being amazing and providing like snacks and food, and like just that it was just one of the best experiences they've had with Airbnb. And I was like, thank you, Spirit. And it was available on the days that I needed. Okay. Then as I'm booking it, as I'm going to reserve it, it was really cool too, because I realized that if I selected a certain option, I could basically make it a refundable fee. Like I could make the reservation refundable if I paid just a little bit more. And it wasn't that I knew I wanted to get a refund, because I knew I wanted to stay at this place. But in doing that, it made it so it put off me having to pay anything for like a month. And that just gave me more time to get more money. It just kind of pushed off having to pay it from then, and basically just gave me more time. And I was like, sweet, like, what are the odds of that? I find this perfect one in the perfect location that's got all these amazing reviews, and I don't even have to pay right then, and it's refundable. So if anything changes, or if anything happens, or I find something else, or I change my mind, I'm out of it, and it's fine. So then, this is so cool. Then today I find out that it's like big enough, the room is big enough that I'm booking, that somebody can come and stay with me that I'm visiting and be completely comfortable. Like there's another place for them to sleep. It's like, anyway, I'm so freaking excited. All of this came about because I just gave it over to my spirit. I wasn't worried about it. I knew my spirit got it. I knew my spirit would handle it in the best way possible, because that's what I asked for. And that's the way I'm living now. And that's my new experience of life. So I'm putting this out there to say that, you know, if life feels hard for you, there's some reason for that. There's something going on. There's something at the root cause that you could find through a holographic kinetic session to change that reality for you. Life is not meant to be a struggle. Life is not meant to place you as a victim. If you're having those kinds of experiences, if life feels really difficult for you, or you keep trying to manifest things and just nothing is changing in your reality, do the inner work. Get real with yourself. Go have a holographic kinetic session. Clear that issue at the root cause and watch your reality change for the better. I'm telling you, this is next level clearing / healing. Next level. And the reason I speak about it so much is because it has helped me completely, not only just like transform my life, it's more about transforming my inner state. My inner way of being has changed and shifted so much that I no longer live in stress and fear and anxiety. I don't have like depression. I don't like get obsessive about money and worrying about where I'm going to get it next and all of these things that I used to have issues with, okay? I no longer experience that. I have the most peace that I've ever had in my life. I have a clear way of being. I don't take on other people's projections. I don't take on other people's lack mentality or their worst case scenario thoughts. I know what's theirs and I know what's mine, and I know the life I want to live doesn't include those things, and I block them out right off the bat. You can say it in your head too. You don't have to necessarily say it to the person, of just like, no, that's not part of my belief system, or like, no, I'm not taking that on, whatever. But I just say it out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not taking that on. No, I don't live in worst case scenarios. It's going to work out. And I'm telling you, when you start doing this, amazing, amazing things are possible for you in your reality. And that's why I have started this channel. That's why I talk about these things. And believe me, where I'm at in my life right now, a lot is getting ready to shift. I'm making a lot of changes. So I've been kind of quiet on this channel for a little while, because like, I just want to put out things that are gonna be the most beneficial for people. I don't want to just be a talking head spewing things that aren't important, or I'm not just trying to get attention. I'm not trying to get like outside validation. I'm just over here living my life, creating my best reality for me moving forward, taking leaps, growing, having a growth mindset, and wanting to share what I think is going to be most pertinent and most resonating with those of you who end up watching this. So if you find this helpful, if this resonates with you, please like, subscribe, to get this out to more people. And I really appreciate you being there. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.